It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show, episode 119. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, March 9th, 2025. A great day to do a podcast about video games and more, and that is what I am here to do. So welcome to the show. I hope you're doing great out there in the world, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, whenever you are listening to this. I hope everything's going great, and if it's not going great, I hope it gets better immediately. So the first thing I want to do is ask you, the first order of business here is to ask you to follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast, so find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. Twitch.tv/DepLewisShow is a great place to follow. Been talking about trying to get on a streaming schedule. I believe I am going to start doing this on Sunday is the new thought now. So I think I've done that the last few Sundays, and it's been nice as a post-podcast release kind of thing to do. Get on there and promote the Dep Lewis Show. Try to get some people to watch some video games and also come back and listen to this show once a week for all the video game information you need to know. So check me out on twitch.tv/DepLewisShow. If you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, patreon.com/DepLewisShow is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly. And then Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you would like to support the show. So the show I keep talking about is the show we're doing right now. And this show always has 3 sections. The first section, I'll tell you about what video games I've been playing, what's going on in my video game world. And then the mid section, which is the middle section, but not mid in quality. It is what is going on around the video game world. So all the news and information and releases that you need to know takes place in the mid section of this show each week. And then third and final section is a break from video games. It's the Miscellaneous talk section where I can talk about anything I want to outside of the video game world. So I usually keep you up to date here with what's going on with my sports fandom across my favorite teams. And you go on the roller coaster journey ride of emotions through my sports fandom. So that's usually what takes place in the Miscellaneous talk section. And today will be no exception. So let's get into it. Let me think of anything else going on. For the sports section, I went and saw a game in person last night, so I'm going to talk about some of that. That's pretty fun and interesting. And then also, if you live in the United States, if you woke up today and the clock moved an hour ahead, everything has sprung forward. So spring is springing out here. The clocks have moved forward an hour. We are gaining some daylight, and that means good things in my book. That means baseball's coming. That means more daylight. That means the sun is coming. It's going to be warmer, and I am a fan of all those things. So that's everything going on otherwise that I can think of besides video games. But hey, we're here for some video games. So let's get into the video game talk. What have I been playing? Myself, as a personal human, as a video game player, I've been playing a game that I'm close to finishing. Something I've been, going out for a little while, but got back into last week. If you listen to this show, you know I jump around on video games a whole lot, and I have jumped around to Gears of War 4. I'm on Act 5 of this game. There are 5 acts total in this game, so I'm pretty close, and I think I'm on the 3rd chapter of the act. I think is what it is. I'm in a cool mech section, and I plan on finishing this game today, is the hope. So after I record this podcast today, I'm going to do some streaming on twitch.tv/DepLewisShow. I'm going to try to finish up Gears of War 4, which would be nice, and then I'm going to plan on playing Gears of War 5 at some point. So trying to get a little bit prepared for Gears of War E-Day. Gears of War is definitely, I don't know if I want to call it one of my favorite franchises, but it's definitely up there in contention for some liking of mine. I really like this franchise. The first 3 games are incredible. I don't know about it. I guess Incredible's good. I guess Incredible's fair. But I mean to say the first 3 games are really memorable and hold a special place in my heart from when they were released and all that kind of things. And they were really fun to play co-op, and just had a really, really great time with the first 3 games, playing the campaigns and doing co-op. And this more recent one I think is good. I just don't think it's hitting the high highs, or maybe it's just the nostalgia taking over, but I find this Gears of War 4 more fun just for the gameplay. So I think that's the thing that really holds up with this game, is how fun the gameplay is of getting into some cover, shooting some people, putting a lot of bullets into these enemies, and having very minor story. It's all kind of breezy. I enjoyed that part about it, and that's the case here. I just find the first 3 maybe to be a little more memorable in the areas and things like that of where you're going and the set pieces. But This game is definitely very fun and been kind of easy to play through. So, excuse me 1 second. I was trying to find my cough mic, but yeah, it's been pretty easy to play through. I was saying it's been taking me a while, but that's no fault of the game. It's just I've just been picking it up and restarting, but it's been very fun. Gears of War 4. I'm on Act 5. Hopefully I can complete this game today. The combat's still good. I got to see Baird and Cole, which was nice. It's always nice to see Cole, one of my favorite characters from early on in the series. The Lancer, I think, is my most used weapon in this game. It's really been the main thing I've been using. And then this game first released in 2016, if you didn't know, Gears of War 4. Gears of War 5 released in 2019, so I've been into some Gears lately. So hopefully I can complete this game and tell you about it next week. This will be the first game of 2025 that I've completed, so I've really been slacking. So hopefully I can get some games under my belt, and that is the hope here. So been playing some Gears of War 4 and plan to finish that today. All right, what else have I been playing? I've been playing Super Mario 3D Land. So this is something else that I've actually beaten this game back in the day, I am pretty sure. But I've started a new file here. I'm playing as Luigi and having some fun in this game. I've been back into some platformers recently. I guess from playing Astrobot last year, that being the best game of the year for the Dep Lewis Show, has got platformers back on the brain. And this is one that's very fun to jump back into and just play through. So I really do enjoy it. This one is different from typical 2D Mario or typical 3D Mario. It's more a little bit in between. So it's an interesting take on it. It's a little bit, unique and unusual, but I enjoy all brands of Mario, pretty much all brands of Mario platforming. And this is a game I haven't spent a ton of time with. If I have completed it, I barely did just back in the day. So it's nice to go back and play some of this. So that's what I've been doing. Been Cat Luigi over there climbing up the wall. So this game controls very good. It feels a little more floaty from when you first get into it. I think from playing some precise style platformers. But then once you play it for a little bit, the recognition that the controls are actually really tight comes through. So I think it just takes a moment to get used to exactly how they're operating. But I do think they're very tight controls, and that is extremely important in a Mario game. So I've been playing some Super Mario 3D Land. It's basically just kind of a relaxation kind of game. So I could see myself playing some more of this to make some progress, and maybe I will get another completion on Super Mario 3D Land. I guess it's 3D World. I think I have written down the wrong thing. So it is I think it's 3D World. I'm playing, or I guess maybe it's Land. I don't know why I'm confusing myself now, but I'm made the title possibly with the 3DS release. But I'm playing, this is the remake of the Wii U game, if that was unclear. So the one with Bowser's Fury included in it. So, and maybe Bowser's Fury is something I need to check out more in the future too, because that's something I've only played a little bit of in that total package. So I'm playing Super Mario 3D Land. Mentioned being on a platformer kick. I've been playing some more Yoshi's Island on the Game Boy Advance. So that's something that I picked up recently, the GBA Advance SP. I've been having a whole lot of fun with that. That thing's really, really cool. So I'm on World 2. So that's where this is the game. Yeah, I'm on World 2. Maybe about midway through that. So I've been making some progress here, having fun. Never really played Yoshi's Island from back in the day. And, I talk about loving platformers. I love Super Mario World. And this is the spiritual successor to that. And I really do like Yoshi. So this one seems like a real big blind spot for a game that I've missed. I enjoy the egg shooting. Is really, really fun. I think that mechanic is fun to do and hasn't gotten old yet. I like flying around as Yoshi. I like trying to save Mario. It's a very hectic thing when Mario gets detached from Yoshi and he's crying and you have to go try to get him. But I find that to be pretty fun. I think it's a good health element. I think it's interesting, and this is just a really fun game. The controls in this game are very precise, and the visuals are really interesting, and just a really, really fun game. So Yoshi's Island is definitely something I've missed out on over the course of my life, and I'm glad I am playing it. It's been fun playing it on a handheld form. So been really happy with diving back into some of this retro stuff, including handheld. So those have been the main games I've been playing this week. Gears of War 4, Super Mario 3D Land, and Yoshi's Island. It is the year of no direction for my video game playing, so that is probably why my video game playing is more all over the place recently even, but it's been fun. There's a lot of good games to play. Nothing too new on the lineup for the year that I'm really having to jump into day one, so it just leaves me having to play some backlog stuff, but luckily I have a lot of good backlog options. So that's kind of where I've been, the year of no direction on the Dep Lewis Show for what I'm playing. So that's everything I've been playing. I'm trying to think of what else is going on in my video game world. I've still been looking at some retro stuff. I picked up a few games yesterday. I picked up Borderlands 1 and 3, and I actually picked up a copy of Borderlands 3 and the disc doesn't work, so I'm going to have to return that. So there's one fault of used media or physical media, but I think there's, valid points to both. But it's been fun going on this little bit of a retro journey and being able to pick up some old games. I picked up Ratchet and Clank, the first one on PS2. It's like $20, so it was in really good condition as well. And just exciting to have the first Ratchet and Clank game ever. It's one of my favorite series and definitely one of my favorite characters. So that's kind of when I've been getting into this, because I don't really enjoy physical media too much, but it's nice to have a little bit of it. So I think I'm kind of going from a place where I was operating on having no physical media for many, many years to a place where now I'm having a little bit of physical media in my collection, and it's all just really, really stuff that I think is cool. So I think that's been a good way to do it, and it's been a fun journey down the retro scene of video games, or at least a little bit older scene of video games, just not current gen, is basically what I'm talking about. But there's a lot of great video games out there in the world, and you can listen to me talk about them each week here on the Dep Lewis Show in this first section. So thank you for listening to what I've been playing, and please go check out, well, I don't want to say check out my stream today because you could be listening to this later in the week, but hopefully I finished Gears of War 4 today, and I'll be back next week on the show to tell you my progress either way, unless I just ghost Gears of War 4 today and don't play it. But I think I'm so close I really have to just get a game checked off on the list for this year for completing something. So that is the plan. So thank you for listening to the first section of the show today. That's going to wrap up what I've been playing. We're going to take a break. You're going to hear some lovely music. And then we're going to come back for the midsection where I tell you everything that's going on around the video game world that you need to know. So, go take a break. Go reheat your coffee. Go switch some laundry over. Maybe don't go take your dog out because you want to keep listening to this, but you could throw some headphones in if that is the case, and come right back after this music to listen to the midsection of Dep Lewis Show, episode 119, after this. Welcome back to the midsection of Dep Lewis Show, episode 119. This is where I tell you about everything going on around the video game world that you need to know. And there was a very exciting announcement, something that we were expecting, something I've mentioned here the last few weeks on the Dep Lewis Show. They announced, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater franchise announced a little bit ago, maybe a week or so ago, that they were going to have an announcement on March 4th, 2025. And March 4th, 2025 has come and gone, and we have got the announcement that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 are being remastered. Very similarly to the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 plus 2. It's going to have 3 and 4 in this package. It is going to release on July 7th, 2025 for $49.99 US, coming out to all the consoles, PS5 and 4, Xbox Series X and S. Yeah, I wrote on here, usually I say Xbox Series X and S. I decided I was going to change and write Xbox Series, but I still don't think that sounds right. So Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. So getting the Switch in there, and possibly a Nintendo Switch 2 hardware boost, possibly. So in this, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 plus 4, get hyped for the legendary franchise to return with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 plus 4. Everything you loved is back, but revamped with more skaters, new parks, gnarlier tricks, eardrum shattering music, plus a whole lot more. So one of my favorite games of all time is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, and I am so excited to play it in a new form. So this is something I picked up on my retro journey, picked up a couple copies of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, or Tony Hawk games, got some on the N64, and picked up Tony Hawk 3 actually on the PlayStation 2 yesterday, and those games still play great. But the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 plus 2 package is something just really outstanding to have on modern consoles and have both games included in one. And this is, definitely a day one purchase for me, and is a contender already for Game of the Year for me, even though it's an old game. I don't know. I guess I can consider that. I need to think more about that as we get closer to the end of the year. But I guess this, it's my show. It certainly can win, but I need to think about that some more. But this is definitely one of the premier games for me coming out this year. It's definitely a day one purchase and something I am excited for. So some other announcements, the Doomslayer will be playable in this game. So there's going to be some other franchise crossover stuff, which I think is really, really cool, and something I really enjoyed from Tony Hawk back in the day. Tony Hawk 3 originally released in 2001, and Tony Hawk 4 originally released in 2002. So I really do have a blind spot with Tony Hawk 4. I don't know if it's because I was playing so much Tony Hawk 3, and just back in the day you didn't get games as often, or didn't feel like there was as many coming out, or all the different options to buy them. I don't know what it was, but I would have thought I would want to get another Tony Hawk game because it's been one of my favorite franchises until then. But I really do think I took some type of a detour after Tony Hawk 3, and I was maybe pointing towards Halo coming into my life at that point, and really taking over as one of like the main games I go to play when I boot my console up. But Tony Hawk was been that for a long time, and there has been a resurgence for Tony Hawk for me with that 1 and 2 collection, and then actually picking up some of the older Tony Hawk games on some retro consoles. So just one of my favorite franchises of all time, and super excited to get a remaster of this, to play some more of 3 in modern fashion, and then revisit 4, something I've maybe just played a little bit of, or maybe I'll remember more of it than I thought when actually going back to play some 4, but something I am very interested in. So Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 Plus 4 is releasing on July 11th, 2025, and day one purchase for the Dep Lewis Show is the plan here. So way to go, Tony Hawk. I'm excited for you. All right, so what else is going on around the video game world? Let's talk about let's talk about a few releases that have actually come out in the last week. Both of these games released on March 6th, 2025. And the first one I want to talk about is Split Fiction. So this game has been reviewing very well. I don't think I've heard really much, too many bad things or anything bad said about this game. So Split Fiction is out right now. It released on March 6th, 2024. It is $49.99 US. It's out on PS5 and 4, the Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and Microsoft Windows. So running the whole gamut there. In this game, you can embrace mind-blowing moments as you're pulled deep into the many worlds of Split Fiction, a boundary-pushing co-op adventure. So something that is not apparent these days, or I guess apparent maybe is not the right word, abundant, something like that. We don't see them as often in co-op games. So this is one that's really focused on it, and it's completely focused on it, I guess is the case here. The developer is Hazelight Studios. Some of their previous games were A Way Out and It Takes Two, and It Takes Two was another co-op game that won Game of the Year a lot of places, and is critically acclaimed. So this game's published by EA, and the back of the box talk on this game is Split Fiction is a unique action-adventure experience that keeps you on the edge of your couch with unexpected moments. 1 minute you're taming adorable dragons, and the next you're fighting a cyber ninjas, escaping terrifying trolls, or dodging hover cars thrown by a robotic parking attendant. It's weird, it's wild, and it's designed to be shared. Grab your co-op partner and get ready to overcome any obstacle thrown your way. So I think it's a really cool take. I say on the show often I'm not too much of a multiplayer game and not too much of a co-op gamer these days, but you never know, things could circle back around. But this seems like a really interesting game. I like the takes between the Split Fiction. It's really on the nose, but I think they do a good job here. It seems like from splitting up the science fiction with fantasy. And I think if you pick, whatever character you play, you're more inclined to, that particular style of fiction. So I think that's pretty cool. Like if your friend really is into science fiction, you let them play the science fiction character. And if you love fantasy, then, that's the one you're going to be trying to play. And then you could also play vice versa. Maybe you have another friend who's more into one of those than you are, kind of thing. I just think that's an interesting take. And I think it's cool how the gameplay in the game is mixed between those two things as well. So it doesn't seem like that complicated of a thing, but it seems like they are executing it well here, and it's more than just like a gimmick. So I think it seems like, it seems high quality to me from the outside looking in. So Split Fiction is available right now as a video game, so go check it out. So another video game that's something I have an interest in, because last year was the year of the RPG on the Dep Lewis Show. I think it's one of my favorite genres in video games, and something I want to play more of as I get older. I think it's just, one of my video game plans in life is to play more RPGs. And this one I don't know too much about, but there has been a remaster of it. So I want to bring it to your attention, and it's also putting it on my radar. And I hope I'm pronouncing this game correctly. I hear people pronounce it, and I semi-believe it, but, I can't believe that I'm going to be saying it correctly. So, please, my apologies. But I think it's Suikoden, Suikoden. So I feel like it would be more complicated to say, but it really kind of just is. I think phonetic is the word. It really just kind of sounds like it's, I don't know if phonetic is right, but you can kind of sound it out here. So hopefully that's right, Suikoden. But Suikoden had a 1 and 2, has had a remaster in one package here. So Suikoden 1+2 remaster, Gate Ruin, and Dunan Unification War. So you can definitely tell I haven't played this game before, but it looks cool to me. It released on March 6, 2025, $49.99 US. It's releasing on PS5 and 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and Microsoft Windows. And Suikoden This is just kind of the back of the box talk on both of these. A Hero's Destiny is written in the stars. The legendary Konami JRPGs Suikoden 1 and Suikoden 2 have now been remastered in HD. The first game, the story of Suikoden 1, a once renowned hero turns into a violent tyrant. I like the alliteration there. Hopefully that's the correct word, a violent tyrant. Someone needs to be like a rap song about that. And an empire falls into decline. A liberation army is rising up in an act of rebellion against an oppressive rule. One by one, the 108 stars of destiny gather to shape the course of history. So I wonder why there are 108 stars. I wonder what significance that is. And I wonder if it is video game significance, or I wonder if it's based on some type of other real life lore, but who knows. So that's the story of Suikoden 1 in this package. And then we also have the story of Suikoden 2. And in this game, our story's hero and his friend Jowy, I guess Jowy, could be Joey in an alternate universe, but Jowy, we're going to go with Jowy, are members of the Unicorn Youth Brigade, which participated in a drawn-out border dispute between the Highland Kingdom and the city-states of Jouston, Jowston. Sounds like maybe a neighboring city of Houston. I'll go to Jouston. A few months earlier, a truce agreement was signed between the two forces, both of which were happy to see an end to the fighting. However, hidden under the momentary peace, the fires of a new war continued to smolder. So some of the features in this new remaster of Suikoden 1 and 2 are all background illustrations have been upgraded to HD. Updated effects breathe new life into the pixel art animation. New environmental sound effects to immerse yourself in this fantasy world. Battle sound effects are also now HD and add a new level of realism. Newly added autosave, battle fast forward, and conversation logs. So those are all the new features of Suikoden 1 and 2 HD in this collection. So that game is available now. Definitely something I would look to pick up in the future, possibly on a sale or just sometime when I'm looking for a new video game to play. So 2 games, 1 package. I really do kind of like, I know remasters are a little bit of an old thing, but I'm starting to appreciate them a little bit more because it's just a nice option. It doesn't make the old games useless or unplayable, and it's definitely sometimes worth playing both versions. So I think that's the kind of thing that's been growing on me a little bit more here recently, that remasters are cool. The old options are still cool too. Sometimes there's some differences. Sometimes one can blow the other one out the water, but having the options is nice. And if you really, really love the game, then I think it's a cool situation. You can have multiple ways to play it. You can say, hey, this is, I played the original way. I played the new way. I love this game, and I just wanted to see everything it has to offer. So I think it's a cool thing overall. So Suikoden 1 and 2 Remaster Gate Ruin and Dunan Unification Wars is available now. Okay, what else we got on the news front today? So I guess it is my favorite video game of all time, The Last of Us 2, this is a it's a hardware announcement, a new controller. So The Last of Us is getting a DualSense controller, a brand new controller for PlayStation, DualSense wireless controller, The Last of Us limited edition. This thing looks amazing. I definitely have some interest in pre-ordering this. And the pre-orders begin March 14th, 2025, and this controller launches April 10th, 2025. So you need to get on this in the upcoming week if you're looking to get one of these. It's going to be available in limited quantities, $84.99 US. I really do wish I just needed another PlayStation controller, because this would be a good excuse to buy one, but this might just have to be something I hope to get later in the future, but it's definitely interesting. It looks cool. It is created in close collaboration with the creative team at Naughty Dog, one of my favorite developers of all time, and features glossy trophy icons printed across the surface that call back to key moments, characters, and events from The Last of Us Part 1 and 2. So really amazing thing. Definitely my favorite video game. It's been my favorite video game ever since it released, and I don't think anything's overtaken it yet. There's been some close contenders, and I think it even holds up against games from my past. So something I'll do on this show one day, or multiple times, is kind of go over my favorite video games of all time and have a check-in with that. So that's just something I think I've definitely said numerous times on the show. The Last of Us 2 is my favorite game, but I don't think I've ever done like an official ranking of this place and time. What are my favorite games? So that's something I need to put on the docket and think about, because that's a fun thing to think about. I like doing rankings and thinking about the history of some things I've played, so it's fun to do. So The Last of Us getting a new DualSense controller. Pre-orders begin March 14th, 2025, and this controller launches on April 10th, 2025. Really, really cool. So more PlayStation news, sticking in the PlayStation side of things. PlayStation has announced a beta program. So the registration has been announced. It got announced on March 4th, 2025, and they are introducing the beta program at PlayStation. They're touting it's an easier, more consolidated way for gamers to sign up to participate in future PlayStation betas across a wide range of PlayStation experiences. So I think this is a good idea. I was thinking to myself, I don't think this is something I want to sign up for, but I could have seen myself doing this at some point, or maybe in the future. I'm spending my time in other ways with video games than wanting to beta test things. But I think I don't know, I could see the appeal of this though. The beta program at PlayStation will create an easy, centralized place for you to register your interest in a range of future PlayStation betas. A single registration for beta program at PlayStation will allow you to express interest in gaining beta access to test participating games for the PS5 console and PC, new PS5 console features, PlayStation app features, and even user experience features on PlayStation.com. You only need to sign up once to express interest in these various betas, and if you receive an invitation to a specific beta, it is up to you to decide whether you'd like to participate or not. So I think this is cool in the sense they're making it like a single sign-on type of thing. You want to sign up for the overarching thing, and they're going to kind of include you in the information coming when there's some type of beta that comes out. So I think it's interesting if you're into this type of thing, especially if you're making content on this. It makes it hopefully a little bit easier to get in there, but something I just wanted to highlight on the show that is going to be available. You can go register right now, and you never know, maybe I'll register for it because it seems like a pretty low barrier to entry, and then you don't have to actually participate if you don't want to. So it might just be smart to sign up if you have any interest, and then you could make a decision once the betas are presented to you, or I'm sure there's a way to unsubscribe. But for this PlayStation beta program, there's a few requirements that they list on the post for this. Players must have a valid account for PlayStation Network in good standing with a current email address. Accounts with restrictions or violations may not be eligible for participation. Players must live in the region where beta program at PlayStation is available, and players must meet the legal age requirement for their region. So just make sure you take note of all those things. Make sure you are up to code on the requirements for the PlayStation beta program. This is free to join, and registration is open globally right now. So go check that out if you're interested in the PlayStation beta program. All right, more PlayStation news, and this one's going back to, not the PlayStation 5. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about the 4. We're not even talking about the future PlayStation. We're talking about PlayStation 3 has got a new system update that went live March 5th, 2025. So, print that out there in the newspapers. PlayStation 3 system update live March 5th, 2025. Would you believe it? This brings PlayStation 3 to version 4.92 with improved system performance. Also renews the Blu-ray player encryption key for the console, allowing users to continue using the disk drive. So that sounds like an important feature here. I've picked up a PlayStation 3 in the past year and have been playing. I've been playing a few games on there, but I went and upgraded this when I heard this announcement went live, just to kind of be a test dummy. So in the previous bit of news, I talked about not wanting to do beta stuff, but when this, beta testing things, but when this update announcement came through, I was like, hey, I want to go and update this PlayStation 3 I got to make sure and see what it's about. So it was a short update. I think I read 200 megabytes, but it really only took maybe just a few minutes, maybe no longer than 5 or 10 minutes. It was a quick update, and I couldn't really notice anything too different. But nice of PlayStation to be having my back here with a system update, hopefully improving system performance, and I guess just future-proofing a console. So as I've been on this little bit of a retro journey, it is nice to think that these consoles will last a while, and hopefully this is some measure that will allow the PlayStation 3 to do so. So I think a PlayStation 3 is cool because you can hook it up to HDMI. I think it's a good intro, kind of like the 360 if you're looking to buy some older games, maybe not current gen. It's a easy solution to be able to plug them into your TV, so that's nice. And then there's a wide catalog of video games that are pretty inexpensive at this point. The only thing to know with the PlayStation 3, just as a heads up, if you are planning on streaming the PlayStation 3, you're going to have to buy an additional piece of equipment to be able to do so, because the PlayStation 4 and 5, when you go to stream on those, you have to go, I think it's called the HDCP, but you can easily Google this, but you have to disable it or enable it. It's one or the other to be able to stream. So on PlayStation 4 and 5, you can do this manually in the settings, and then PlayStation 3, there's no option to manually do it in settings. I think the only solution I've heard is to buy an HDMI splitter, which those can range from like $15, $20. I think they can be like $60 or maybe some even more expensive ones, but I think maybe like $20 to $60 range is what to expect on HDMI splitters. So not an incredibly expensive solution to this problem, but just something to know if you're looking to go buy a PlayStation 3 in modern times. But there's a new system update on there, hopefully improving some things and hopefully making some consoles last longer than they originally would. All right, so what else is going on around the video game world. I think I got like 4 more topics here for you today. This one's, not sticking all the way with PlayStation. We're going to talk about Rockstar. They put some games on the PlayStation over their history. And Rockstar Games, the news here, Rockstar Games has announced the acquisition of Video Games Deluxe, the Sydney-based development studio. So the studio will now be renamed to Rockstar Australia. So I like that. I like that title. Video Games Deluxe has worked with Rockstar Games on some of its most memorable titles, including the 2017 re-releases of L.A. Noire, or the re-release of L.A. Noire, and the most recently re-release of Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, the definitive edition that took about a year to get in the correct condition, but I think is a worthwhile collection at this point in time. So Rockstar acquiring a studio they've been doing a lot of business with, and Rockstar's games relationship with the Video Games Deluxe team began with founder Brendan McNamara's former studio, Team Bondi, and the creation of the critically acclaimed and groundbreaking detective thriller L.A. Noire. So that is where the relationship has began and has been a successful one over the course of time. If these are the games in their library, hopefully, they did have a lot of success because there's some good video games. Rockstar Games was founded in 1998, and this one seems, hopefully a good move for the Video Games Deluxe studio. That's now called Rockstar Australia, and hopefully they will have a fruitful relationship out there on the Rockstar side of things. So looking forward to some Grand Theft Auto 6, and hopefully they can make some other good stuff as well. So hopefully that is a good move for Video Games Deluxe, that is now known as Rockstar Australia, and looking to see what Rockstar has for us in the future. So some more kind of publisher news. A previous publisher you might know from the past, if you're a little bit of an older video gamer like myself, is Acclaim. So the publisher Acclaim is returning to the video game industry. A very kind of iconic splash screen from back in the day. You might have seen it on some Mortal Kombat games. They published the first 2 of those. They published NBA Jam or some other games from back in the day, and there's a whole other list of video games that they have, had their hand in. So Acclaim is also known for its releases based on TV shows and movies. So that was a big sector of their business. And going forward, so Acclaim is back. And going forward, they're going to focus on supporting new indie games and original IP is what they're saying. They have plans to resurrect and revitalize classic franchises. However, nothing specific has been detailed yet. Acclaim was founded in 1987 by Greg Fishbach, who is not on board for the return in 2025. So there is an all-new team here for Acclaim in 2025, and they also are, not having some of their brands from the past that are now owned by other companies. So the history of Acclaim in 2004, so before 2004, they had a pretty great run through the video game industry. In 2004, Acclaim Entertainment went out of business, though, and in its place, Acclaim Games was founded in 2006. However, the company closed its doors in 2010, and I think that's the last that we've heard from this company. So they are now back in the modern day and times and going to be doing some publishing again. So just wanted to bring that up here on the Dep Lewis Show. Acclaim is back in business doing some publishing. All right, something that is taking place tomorrow, if you're listening to this podcast in real time, is Mario 10 Day, or MAR 10 Day. It looks like Mario Day. So Mario 10th is official Mario Day each year. And just want to mention that this is taking place. It's more of a reminder for next year. Oh no, I thought I was gonna miss it on the podcast. But if you're listening in real time today, it's actually tomorrow, March 10th, is Mario Day. They're going to be selling a Nintendo Switch OLED model plus Super Mario Bros. Wonder bundle. It's going to cost $349.99 USD, so that is the original price. But in this bundle, you're actually getting a video game, so that's very nice. And it's a digital code for Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So I don't think they're just selling this console on Mario 10 Day, but I think it's starting to be sold on Mario 10 Day is my take on this. But I could be wrong. But they're also going to have some deals on video games on March 10th. I don't know if they're going to extend any longer throughout the week, so you may want to check on these. I would go check this out if you're interested in buying some Mario games, especially digitally. You can save $20 on some games like Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart, Mario 3D World, and that's the game I was talking about playing earlier, not Land. So I want to make sure I get that right in my show notes. And then Super Mario RPG, Princess Peach Showtime, and Luigi's Mansion 2 are some other ones you can save $20 on Mario 10 Day on March 10th, which is Mario Day. So I just want to make you aware of that and something to look forward to, or not look forward to, but something kind of like Pokemon Day to put on the calendar each year with. If you're looking to buy something, there's probably going to be some discount that day, and it's just a nice day to check in with one of your favorite franchises. So, happy Mario Day tomorrow for anyone out there who celebrates. And the last thing for this midsection of all the news this week is just a placeholder for Nintendo Switch 2 rumors. I don't think I have anything too good from the last week. I don't think I've heard any new rumors to report. The only thing we're looking forward to now is the upcoming Nintendo Direct, which is going to be a Nintendo Switch 2 Direct that's taking place on Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025 at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So looking forward to that. Hopefully going to have some pre-orders go live for the Nintendo Switch 2. Hopefully get some more information on some software, maybe get some more hardware specs, and hopefully have a lengthy presentation on the Nintendo Switch 2 console, which I hope is going to be an amazing console that is readily available for purchase by whoever would like to buy one, because that is my hope. So, and hopefully not an insane price announcement. So I'm interested to see a lot about the Nintendo Switch 2. And if you just want to listen to the Dep Lewis Show, I will guarantee that I will keep you updated on what's going on with the Nintendo Switch 2, because it's one of the most exciting things going on in the video game world right now. So that's everything I have for you for this midsection this week of all the video game news and information you need to know. We talked about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 Remaster has been announced. Split Fiction is available right now. Suikoden 1 and 2 Remaster available right now. The Last of Us DualSense is coming out soon. PlayStation has a beta program you can register for now. PlayStation 3 has a new system update out there. Yes, the PlayStation 3. Rockstar has acquired Video Games Deluxe, which is now Rockstar Australia. Acclaim, the Acclaim publisher, is now back in business, doing some more publishing. Mario 10 or Mario Day takes place tomorrow if you're listening real time. And then we talked about some Nintendo Switch 2 rumors, which there's nothing too much to report besides waiting on the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct on April 2nd, 2025. So that's everything I have for you for the video game news this week. Thank you for listening to this, and there's still one final section of the show left, so that is the Miscellaneous Talk section. It's going to take place after this music, and it's going to be a break from the video game talking, and we're going to get into the worldwide world of sports. So thank you for listening to this mid-section. Listen to this music and come back for the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 119, after this music. Welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 119, the Miscellaneous Talk section, where I can talk about anything I want to outside of the video game world. So I want to get into the worldwide world of sports and tell you what's going on with my favorite teams. I mentioned early on that I went to a sporting event, and that was actually a Hornets game last night, so I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But I wanted to check in with my favorite team, the Carolina Panthers. Nothing to report there, just waiting for 2025, waiting for the draft. The Panthers have the 8th overall pick in the draft, and I'm looking for a JC Horn extension. So I want to say that every week until it happens, or until it doesn't happen, to try to, will it into existence. So JC Horn needs an extension. He needs to be a very rich, wealthy Panther for many more years, and they need to sign the lockdown corner to the squad. So that's my only hope for the Panthers. The only thing I really want to say. I'm looking forward to the draft. Looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. The Panthers have been making some signings. I think they signed their center back last night. They signed their Tommy Tremble at tight end. And nothing, I haven't really seen the numbers on them, so I think these are more, let's say basic deals, but they're handling, not really splash moves. They're making some smart decisions, getting some good deals done with players that have helped the squad out and continue to help the squad out, and getting a center locked down is a great move. So I think the Carolina Panthers have been making some good moves, and I'm looking forward to next season, especially because of Bryce Young, and hopefully having JC Horn on an extendo, getting the bag dropped off. So nothing else to really report for the NFL this week. Everything's kind of looking forward to the draft. And then we're going to get into the NBA. So I mentioned going to see the Hornets last night. I want to tell you about what's going on with the Charlotte Hornets week. I am a halfway Charlotte Hornets fan now because I live in North Carolina. Last week, the Hornets have been doing a lot of losing. So last Monday, they played Golden State. The Hornets lost 101-119. Wednesday versus Minnesota, the Hornets lost 110-125. Friday versus Cleveland, the Hornets lost 117-118. That was a pretty good game. Watched most of that. And then Saturday versus Brooklyn, which is the game I went to. The Hornets won 105-102 in a comeback win against Brooklyn. Brooklyn had them down early in the game, middle of the game, almost to the point where you don't think they can come back. But Miles Bridges, I believe, led them with 26 points was the case. And the Hornets got back in the mix without LaMelo, without Brandon Miller. And we're playing pretty feisty. So pretty good crowd in the Spectrum Center. Had a good time. They play some good music around that arena, which is nice. And some good basketball. It's fun to go watch basketball in person, and I'm going to be back there in a couple weeks to watch the Hawks game. So the Hawks are my favorite team in the NBA, but the Hornets in the upcoming week are going to be playing against Miami. They're going to be playing in Atlanta. They're going to be playing the Spurs and Clippers, and then the Atlanta Hawks, which are my favorite team. They've been doing a lot of losing as well, so it's been a rough time for basketball in my life. But it was fun to go see a game in person, and actually, please gamble responsibly out there, but I bet $5 on the money lines for the Hornets and the Hawks last night. A two leg parlay, and they actually hit. So I really can't believe it. So basically paid for my ticket, which is a gift from the gambling gods. And just please gamble responsibly out there. I normally have a rule where I don't bet on on teams I like, unless I just want to bet a future. I don't usually bet them, or I plan to lose, or I plan to make a bad decision if I bet them day to day. So I just try not to do it. But last night was just kind of a fun flyer, and I think that's fun to do sometimes. And it actually turned out my favor, which is pretty unbelievable. So the Hawks beat the Pacers last night, and the Hornets beat Brooklyn for a nice small payday on FanDuel. So really, really congrats to me out there. But please gamble responsibly out there in the world. But the Atlanta Hawks, so their last week, they actually won Monday night against Memphis. It was where they stole the ball at the end, and then threw it to LeVert, and who laid it in right as the clock went down. So Desmond Bane was dribbling, trying to get a shot off, and the Hawks had other plans. So it was Dyson Daniels, I believe, was the one who stole the ball and threw it down the court to LeVert, won the game in a pretty great fashion. So nice to see the Hawks get a win, having LeVert in the mix. I wasn't generally too excited getting him back in the trade because I was sad with some of the stuff the Hawks lost, but he is a good wing player, can score the ball, and seems to be playing pretty good for the Hawks. So I am a fan of that. But then Tuesday, the Hawks played Milwaukee. The Hawks lost 121-127. Thursday versus Indiana. So they played Indiana twice this week, and they've beaten Indiana twice this week. So Thursday versus Indiana, the Hawks won 124-118. And Saturday, which helped me win the bet last night, versus Indiana, the Hawks won 120-118. So very good stuff there. Getting a win on the Hornets books and then getting a few wins on the Hawks books is nice and great for me. So the Hawks next week are going to be playing Philly, Charlotte, Clippers, and Brooklyn. So I guess Charlotte and Atlanta are going to have a couple matchups in the next 2 weeks, and I'm going to plan at being one of those. So I'm excited about that. So go NBA. What else? LeBron got injured last night. I think he's going to be out for a couple weeks, possibly up to 8 weeks. And the Lakers got beat by the Celtics last night. Joker had an incredible game this week, a 30, 20, and 20. Excuse me, I'm trying to think what else is going on. SGA has been going out insane, and there's been some really exciting stuff going on in the NBA. So I've been really into it, hitting a upswing on the NBA this season. It's been a little bit down early on, but getting back into it. My favorite teams are getting a couple wins, which has been nice, and then some of the other just stuff around the league has been fun to watch. So, go NBA. So my favorite sport of all time, which is getting close to starting, which is very nice, is the Major League Baseball, and my favorite team in the universe is the Atlanta Braves. We are just in spring training mode right now, just hoping for no injuries. We've seen Sean Murphy got injured. That's a little bit troublesome for the Braves. He's had a pretty good injury history with the Braves so far. When he's been on the field, he's been a great producer, but he's been injured, so that move's been a little bit troublesome so far. And we let Travis Darno, I think he went to the Giants on a nice payday. We let him go in the offseason. We got Contrary. We got rid of a couple years ago in the efforts to bring in Sean Murphy. So I read that we have a young guy, I believe his name is Drake Baldwin, who's the young guy who's been down in Double and AAA that we could see some of early in the season. I'm going to be relying on somewhat. So just a little bit troublesome there. I've been hoping for the Braves to get healthy, and especially Ronald Acuna and Spencer Strider. So I haven't really been watching too much spring training at all. Just hoping for the players to stay healthy and get to the regular season. So the regular season for the Braves starts on March 27th, 2025 against the Padres in San Diego. The actual season, I believe, starts on March 18th and 19th, which is the Tokyo series. I think it's Dodgers and Cubs. And then last night, I'm actually signed up for a fantasy baseball league again, playing with friends of the show and friend of real life, Pab and San Fee. I'm sure you've heard me talk about on this show before. So we're going to do some fantasy baseball again. And our draft is in the upcoming week. So I'll keep you updated with who I get next week. And that's one of my favorite things to do during the season as well as play the fantasy baseball every day. So just very, very excited for baseball to start. Ready for the weather to get warm and have a ton of baseball to watch. Have fantasy baseball to play, and then get back into the gambling, as they say on the Pat McAfee show. So I haven't really been gambling on the NBA too much, but baseball has been my favorite thing to gamble on since I've been able to. So looking forward to getting back to some regular baseball gambling and watching and viewing and everything baseball. So definitely be getting a lot more baseball content in the Miscellaneous Talk section of the show as normally happens during the baseball season. So just making you aware of that we're going to be shifting. I guess we're in the off season, and when I've had 2 losing seasons for my NBA team. So a good time for the baseball seasons to start, I would say. So no other really overarching MLB news to report, but the season is coming in hot. Just 2 weeks away from it officially starting, and then maybe just a couple, one more week on there to get the whole full-blown season going. So I cannot wait. So that's been everything in the Miscellaneous Talk section I have to tell you about this week. Talked about the Carolina Panthers, the Charlotte Hornets, the Atlanta Hawks, the Atlanta Braves, and just all of sports in general. So that's actually going to wrap up the Miscellaneous Talk section. And in turn, that's going to wrap up the entire Dep Lewis Show, episode 119. So thank you so much for listening. I want to reiterate some promotional talk from the beginning. Please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of the Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. Find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. Twitch.tv/DepLewisShow is a great place to follow. If you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, Patreon.com/DepLewisShow is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly. Also, Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you would like to support the show. So thank you for listening. I'm trying to think what I have going on in this upcoming week. I believe the ACC basketball tournament's taking place in Charlotte, so I could possibly go to one of those games at the Spectrum Center if there's a good time and I can find a reasonably priced ticket. I'm going to hopefully complete Gears of War 4 this week. That's hopefully going to be a goal and something I report back to you next week, having done. That'll be the first game I've completed of 2025. And just hopefully have a great, outstanding week. So, I'll be back next week for another episode of Dep Lewis Show, as always, keeping you up to date with the video game world and some of the stuff going on with me. And I hope you have a wonderful week out there in the world. I hope you have some time off from work. I hope you become independently wealthy. I hope you get a new car. I hope you get a new video game console. I hope something great happens to you. And just thank you for being a listener. And I will see you next time. I'm not struggling. I'm over here to end it. But, this is a drawn-out ending. It's going to be drawn out. I'm just going to keep the ending going. And then abruptly going to end it. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for being a Dep Lewis Show listener. This has been episode 119. I will be back next week with another episode, keeping you up to date with the video game world. And just thank you for being you. And I will talk to you next time.